Hi guys, it's my first review here. It's Beazi from Shop 2. As you probably know, I'm quite active on there, so if you want to get the cheapest games at the best prices, go to shop2.net. What I wanted to do was a little bit of a retro review today of some of my favourite games ever. So what I'll do is I'll just go through each one by one so you can learn a little bit more about them, and then I'm sure on eBay you can pick them up for pretty cheap nowadays, or better still, go on the PlayStation Network and they're pretty cheap on there anyway. So, this is the original Resident Evil collection, Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, and also the Survivor one. These really are the best of the lot. Some people say that the fourth one is a lot better. I argue with them, to be perfectly honest. I think it was a little bit from the norm. So what I'll do is to go through each one. They are a little bit clunky nowadays, so it's a bit of a shame. But we're starting off with the first one, which is Resident Evil 1. You start in a mansion. You don't have any of the special video effects that were common then the days. But it's an excellent game, excellent start. It's extremely difficult. If you really want an easier version of this game, go for that one, which basically is the same game, just it will help you along and hold your hand a little bit more. Some of the best parts in it is fighting the snake. The zombie that you first meet is jaw-breaking. It really is moments, which then leads on to the second one, which was really the first one that I ever played. I did get the first one, a little bit afterwards, after I got the second one, and because I was quite young at the time, I was shit scared of the second one. But eventually come to my senses, played it, and it's one of the best games I've ever played. So the first one, as you can probably tell, is made in 1996, so it's really old. And if we look at the back here as well, yes, a bit blocky. It's not your Call of Duty or your PS4 sort of style. It's old. It's clunky on the controls. No, you can't use your analogs, but it's an absolutely fantastic game. You go through, meet spiders, hunters. No lickers in this one, but an excellent game and well worth picking up. It's a good introduction to the series. And say, for example, if you've played the fifth one or played the sixth one, which is absolute toilet, then you want to give this one a go. Find a little bit more about the series, and I'm sure you'd be quite impressed with how far it's come, but how fun these games used to be. I would say this one isn't as good as the one I'm going to go on to next, which I think is probably the best in the series so far. I know some people do argue about it and say, oh yeah, we really like the fourth one, but it's not my cup of tea. So I'll put that one back and give you a little bit of a review on number 2. This came out in 1998. I remember it quite well in the April. Although I bought it in the April, to be fair, I probably didn't get past the first part until about June, when the scariness of it had worn off a little bit after watching the zombie, which of course is in the first one, where the zombie turns its head and looks at you. That really was the bit that made me jump, and I didn't actually watch a lot of the FMV until a later point. Again, you can't use the analog sticks, so it's a bit of a shame that, unless you got the US version, I think you can on that, and I think you might be able to on the PlayStation Network one. But this is a really, really good game. It's excellent, as you can see on the back there. If we zoom into that, there's the matey. He turns halfway through the game, turns from a human being into a zombie, so that's always a good, exciting moment. You start off in a police station. Well, you start off in the town. trying to get to the police station, then you go into the sewers, the underground lab. It's one of the best games I've ever played, if not the best. It's atmospheric, it's groundbreaking because the two scenarios merge with each other. I would advise anybody who wants to play a PS1 game, which is outstanding, to pick this one up. It is one of the best games out there, and especially it is very nostalgic. So that leads me on to this one. Wow, there's a lot that can be said about Resident Evil Nemesis. Believe it or not, I actually waited outside a shop for 2 hours waiting for this game. It is brilliant. It's probably not as good as the second one. It does have parts of the second one on there, which is even better because you see the crossover where you go into the police station. You can only access certain parts of the police station, which is a shame. It would be nice if the whole police station was open, but remember these discs didn't have very much data space on them. So it's an outstanding game. Also, this guy, he's a bastard. He's a pain in the arse. He will follow you around from start to finish. Okay, he's quite easy to evade as soon as you go through a door, and the music changes to a bit of an eerie ambience. You've got 2 screens before he actually runs out. Of course, what's common in these games that doesn't happen nowadays is that it does flick from screen to screen. The backgrounds were pre-rendered, so they had to do that really, and it's a bit of a shame that they don't remake them. Possibly even as one, that would be absolutely amazing, but not in the modern style. So there's on the back, that's the lovely Jill there. You can probably tell where I got this from years and years ago. Again, you've got your hunters, you've got another strange type of hunter in this one as well. It's pretty easy to get rid of. It actually reappears in the 5th one, but the 5th one, it's a really, really difficult creature to get rid of. I did forget to actually mention the second one has the lickers in it, and also a bad guy, a bit like Nemesis, but it doesn't follow you around as much, called Tyrant. So I would definitely advise anybody wanting to get into Resident Evil to pick up those first 3 games. Now, last but not least, well, I'll mention about the Director's Cut first. The Director's Cut really is the same as the first one. It is a good game. It's almost identical. There is another another mode, I should say, which you can go on to, and that moves all like the red herbs and things around, so that's really good. One of the best things though about this game is this. Now, there's a demo of Resident Evil 2. Now, I know I've got it there as well. However, this demo is quite different, and if you can pick up a version of this Resident Evil Director's Cut, which I should say is quite valuable, it's worth giving that demo a go, because there's a lot of differences once you've played the second game that you'll be able to pick up on. So it's well worth a shot, this. I would definitely give this game a go. Probably say, well, pick up this version over the first version. The reason being is the first version is included on this game. So do pick it up. The memory card saves aren't cross-compatible though, so if you pick up the first version and then manage to find this, you're going to have to start from scratch. And then, finally, leading on to the last Resident Evil on the PlayStation, which is Resident Evil Survivor. Now, this is a bit like Call of Duty, but for the PlayStation. As you can probably tell, the controls are probably very clunky. it's quite strange because you can use the analog pad on this one. I don't think, from memory, yeah, you can use the analog sticks, but from memory, it's not very easy to play. However, it's an excellent game. You've got your lickers in there, you've got your hunters, you've got all the zombies, so it's a really good fun game. You can play it with the G-Con 45 if you can ever pick one up and find one. I doubt it, but if you can find one, pick one up. And yeah, like I said, again, it's worth a whirl. All these games are absolutely fantastic. Storyline doesn't make sense in this one really, but other than that, you know, it's well worth a feature. Like I said, it goes downhill after these ones. The fourth one, yeah, maybe is pretty good. Code Veronica actually isn't bad at all. Maybe it should have focused on one location instead of lots of locations, but I would definitely advise anybody to pick up these games. And out of 10, I would give Resident Evil 2, I'd give the 10 out of 10 to. 3, 9 out of 10. The first one, really, because it's just so clunky and old, about 7 out of 10. And Survivor, probably 6 out of 10. It's the weakest of the PlayStation Resident Evil, but it's still a decent entry. So what I'll be doing is I'll be doing more of these videos as time goes on. So please do subscribe, hit the button in the corner, and we'll go hopefully speak to you soon. Take care, guys. Bye bye.